Hello, this is a presentation of the ecourse Home Repair and Modification. In this course, the learner is presented with 5 different learning modules and 1 evaluation module, which are all designed to educate and assist the learner in home repair projects. In this first page, you can see on the image on the left a before picture and the image on the right an after picture. The hope and goal of this course is that the learner is able to duplicate some of the concepts presented in this course. Not all are required to complete the course. However, the idea is that they can follow the learning theory for the constructivist approach to learning. The learner should be able to analyze, strategize, consider, provide a proof of concept, and then evaluate their learning. Let's get going on this. To start with, we go with the welcome page. This is going to give them a little bit of information about the course so that they can get started on what it requires. The next page is going to give them some of the learning concepts, where that constructivist model that we were discussing right there in front of them again. It's going to give them the 2 learning goals, which are to learn to do some basic home repairs and create job plans for a project. The modules that they're going to have to learn here, it outlines here where they're anything from light fixtures to planning, safety, drywall, wiring, enclosing a space, opening a space, and then at the end of it all, evaluation. In fact, it looks like I'm scrolled down the page, so let's go back to the top, and you can see the parts that you are going through to begin with are the introductory module. Now, one thing you're going to see, every single module, the way that they're laid out, is they begin with an instruction page. And on that instruction page, it's going to tell them exactly what's required, what the objectives are, and then it'll have links to any assignments, discussions, or quizzes. There is some type of evaluation in every module presented. Most often the case, it is evaluated through an assignment that's handed out, where they have to take pictures and talk about what they've learned. There isn't really a right or wrong to most of these sections, because some people are going to be more advanced or be able to, say, patch a hole in a wall better than someone else. Take, for example, the drywall module here that I'm bringing up. There's a video to start with. The video outlines the tools and shows them how to put them together, discusses the tools that are needed, and then it walks them through several different techniques to be able to patch a hole in the wall. And at the bottom of it, it's got a couple of activities that show an actual hole in a wall instead of a mock-up. And then they're encouraged to submit an assignment that shows photos of ways they were able to patch it. The next module down the list is going to be a wiring section. In that wiring section, it's the same thing. It goes over the objectives that we're going to accomplish in the module, and it's going to go through all the different activities and assignments and put it together. And the wiring section is actually divided into 3 different areas, where it's going to teach you to install ceiling speakers, replace a ceiling fan in this case, or install electrical outlets. So if you wanted to go down and go to a particular, I'm on the assignment page here, a particular assignment, you could go and click directly on it. It would walk you through it, and you could turn it in for your grade. There also are discussions in all these modules. Let's say you wanted to go and open up a project, for instance, for installing the ceiling speakers. There it is on the project with the tools that you need, and it walks you through examples of it all the way through with the template for your speakers, cutting the holes in the ceiling, putting all of them in, putting the grills on, running the wires back, running the wires down the wall, connecting it up. The drywall repair comes later, but then it shows what it looks like when it's a finished project. Other projects, replacing a ceiling fan, walks you through all the way through discussing what's going on there. And some of these are videos, other ones they're just still pictures that are showing the different processes. Here's one that gives you an overview of all the steps for replacing or adding electrical outlets, removing some, adding others. Part of your project plan, in this case, we're drawing the wires on the picture so you can see what was going to be removed and what was added. And then you have the safety part that's built in. So we're starting to see these projects combine themselves together, where you had to have safety before You could touch any power tool, any electricity. You couldn't even see those modules until you completed the safety quiz. And just for kicks, the quiz on the safety section is interesting, where it's 10 questions. There's a pool of questions that are there, and you must get 100% score on the safety quiz before you can proceed. Because if you don't fully understand the concept of being safe, we don't want you doing the modules. Go back and retake it. There's not a limit on the number of times you can retake it. And after you've learned about drywall and electrical options, then you start running into the bigger, what we're calling in this LMS, medium projects. In this case, you're opening up a wall and it's showing how to do the electrical portions. It's got videos on how to do different section of it that are all loaded up on YouTube. And it begins to show the steps. Most of these are 30 to a minute long. And you're opening up the wall, doing the electrical work, running new electrical lines, taking your Sawzall out, cutting the studs, putting in your top plates, putting in the king studs on the side, removing the drywall, and then you've got an opening. And you turn in a project at the end that shows you some of the pictures. They give you some examples here on enclosing wall space. And then we walk you through one here where you put some tape on the wall as one of the ideas so you can kind of visualize what you're about to do when you change. In this case, this is an old TV niche that you can't even get 4 to 3 ratio TVs anymore. So you can't put a very wide TV in this space. So it made more sense to enclose it and use the full width of the wall if you wanted to, or just relocate the TV to another area, which is what was chosen on this project. Lay out your tools, frame it, cut it, make sure everything's in. Here's the closet side. Make sure that you have your offsets on the wood when you put it on the wall with the proper thickness for the drywall. So left side to right side, any piece of continuous drywall won't have a visible seam or a ripple. Install them, tape it, embed it, blow your texture on the wall, put some primer down, paint the wall, see what it looks like, and voila, you have a completed wall project. And put some art up on the wall. So look to the course module section, and you can see we've flown right through the different design of drywall, wiring, and then the 2 different kinds of projects here where you open a wall or close a wall. And then that gets you down into the learning evaluation. It starts off with the instructions just like every other module. Instructions tell you what's expected of you, and then it leads to a quiz in this case, which is your final survey. On this quiz, it is graded. Each question is 1 point. There aren't a lot of questions on it, but whereas other quizzes have a random pool of questions that ask, in this case, there is a set pool that every student is going to get asked because we want to know whether they feel confident in doing drywall repairs. And then we also want to know what they thought of the course. Is there anything that wasn't done properly or something that would help them if they had to take it again? So we have an evaluation for the course built in as well. And at the end of the day, the idea is that they can come back and duplicate a lot of this work themselves and run through all the different stages for the constructivist approach, where they can look at it, something, evaluate it, and decide if this is something that they can do. They can make a plan and a budget, consider all the different options, draw a map maybe or a proof of concept, and then do the work and evaluate if it actually worked for them. And at the end of the day, again, left side, right side in this image, where you have a finished living room project where it totally transforms the space. Thanks for viewing.